So, Danny Flexen for Seconds Out here with Nathan. Is it pronounced Heaney or Heaney?
Heaney, yeah, Heaney, Heaney.
Nathan Heaney. And you've just signed, or it's just been announced that you've signed, I'm sure you haven't just signed today, with Frank
Yeah,
Warren,
yeah.
Hall of Fame
I'm
promoter.
upside down. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
right.
dude, I'm messing about it because I'm like looking in that direction, but
So,
I'm looking at you anyway. So.
signing with Frank Warren has literally turned your world upside down.
Yeah, well, literally then, anyway. It's buzzing, like you're saying. Great to be with someone like Frank Warren.
I guess
And it's like,
sorry. I was going to say, I guess the first question signing with Frank Warren announced today is why?
Yeah. Well, obviously, my walkout went a bit viral online. I think I had about roughly 2 million views in the end, and people absolutely loved it. It's something I imagined when I first started. I wanted like a big entrance for coming out to DELILAH and stuff, and I had an idea in my head of what I wanted. But last time, and the support's growing every single time. It's almost doubled every single time as well. Whereas the last time I boxed at the King's Hall in Stoke, there was like 1,300 people in attendance, completely sold out. I completely sold out my tickets. I just under 800 tickets, and I didn't have any more left because there was no more tickets to sell. And there was like 200 people on a reserve list as well. So like in Stoke, the buzz for coming to the fights is unreal. So it's great, and obviously the walkout was just like the icing on the cake, and everyone saw the atmosphere that's there as well.
Presumably, you had other offers.
Yeah, well, I tagged everyone in my walkout video, to be fair, because I thought if I tag everyone, then everyone's going to see it. And yeah, there was quite a few that were interested in really liked what they'd seen. Obviously, they could see the support there as well. But in the end, Frank Warren was close to my heart. It's just growing up, the whole idea was to win the ABAs to get signed by Frank Warren. I never won the ABAs. I did well in the ABAs, but I never materialised. But then I started from the bottom as a pro, worked my way up, and now I'm with Frank Warren, so I'm over the moon.
If you don't mind me asking, were Matchroom in the running at all?
From when I spoke to my manager, they've been in talks, so they had been in talks, but I aren't too sure what the ins and outs are because I leave Errol Johnson to it. So I just tell him what does he think's best, and then he gives me what he thinks. But to be fair, Frank Warren was always going to be the one for me.
And why is that? Because I was reading your Twitter earlier, and it was not just that you were in the ABAs, but also that your dad had always told his friends that you were going to sign with Warren one day.
Well, obviously in the later years now, obviously Eddie Earn's on the scene and Matchroom and stuff. But when I was a senior, you're talking from the age of like say 19 up to the age of say 24 to 26 when I retired from amateur boxing. Frank Warren was the main man, and he was the one that you would look to get signed with. So that was always my focus because he was the main man. He still is one of the main men now. It's just the difference is there's competition from Sky Sports as well as obviously BT Sports and stuff.
Obviously, you said in that tweet that your dad was the one who was always talking about you one day signing with Frank Warren. I'm aware, obviously, you lost your dad about a year ago.
Yeah.
I think the anniversary was a few days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a year ago, probably 3 or 4 days ago. Yeah, so I mean, the story of that is my dad unfortunately did take his own life. So it was a bit when they did like an interview with Dev Sarni from Frank Warren. So when I spoke about like achieving my dream of being with Warren, got me a bit upset because I was thinking about my dad. It's just like you never know what's around the corner. So I mean, like if he'd just been here, like he never saw me win the Midlands title. He never saw me box on BT Sports. He never saw me win the IBO Continental title, and he never missed a single fight in my life. But the only reason he missed these is because he wasn't here no more. But it's one of them. I just got to do my best I can and just show people that because I won the Midlands title 8 weeks after my dad had died. In fact, I accepted the fight the day after he died. So I got a text from my manager saying you've been sanctioned for the Midlands title. He didn't know that my dad had died because I didn't told anyone. I just texted him straight away. He said, "Yep, put it on, bang on." So it was supposed to be me and Ryan Aston at the time. He was a good amateur and a good pro, but I ended up fighting Tom Stokes and winning that. But yeah, I just want to show people that like there's going to be bad times in life, but hopefully you can push through it a little bit. So I mean, and not let things stop you because I wouldn't be part of Frank Warren's team now. I wouldn't be speaking to you now. and it's just important you keep pushing forward.
It must be quite poignant then that he'd always predicted this would happen, and it now has. I mean, obviously it's very sad, but on the flip side, he would have been very proud.
Yeah, absolutely. With my dad, bloody hell, he think I could do anything, to be honest. So he would say that, even if, like I put on the post as well, I don't think his mates believed him. I don't think I believed him either, because, like I say, I underachieved in the amateurs. I beat some of the best amateurs in the country, though, so I knew I was good enough. It's just, my dad always believed in me, and he would have loved me to have signed with Warren, so it's made I love it.
How old were you when you started boxing?
I started fighting from the age of 11. I boxed from the age of 9, and then I boxed my first contest at 11, and boxed every single year until I retired at the age of 26. Yeah, I retired from amateur boxing at 26.
Why did you stay amateur for so long? Why did you not turn pro, say, in your early 20s?
Because the goal was to win the ABAs and sign with Frank Warren, or one of the big. But Frank Warren, that was the idea. And in the end, I was like, this ain't happening. Like, I'd sort of not fell out of love with the sport, but the nerves stopped. The last 2 years of my amateur career in the ABAs, I knew what the result was going to be. You'd do well, and then you'd fight one of the England boys or the GB boys, and you knew for a fact, unless you absolutely smashed them, you weren't going to win. And even when you did smash them, you still didn't win. It was like my body just thought, I've had enough of this, mate. You need practice in, because it just ain't happening. And my last amateur fight was against a very good lad called Zach Parker.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I gave Zach a good little fight. We had a nice close fight. It was competitive all the way through.
Well, he's now world number 1 contender, so.
Exactly. And people that watched it thought it was a very close fight. And I felt like I was in it the old way, but I knew that was my last fight. Because I was boxing in Derby. I was boxing in Swaddling Coat in his own hometown. I knew no matter how good I was going to do, I wasn't going to win that night. And so I knew it was my last one. So I'd already prepared my retirement thing then.
Roughly how many bouts did you have?
I had 90.
Okay.
Yeah, 90. So I had 90. I won 58 of them. So I won more than I lost. But with me, I boxed the best lads in the country. Like, on like the call on the same day as well. I was almost like a pro journeyman. Like, you know what I mean? I'd get a call. The amount of Northside lads. Yeah, but the thing is, I'd get a call from Northside. I boxed Northside bloody loads. All the top boys from Manchester. But yeah, and I beat some top kids as well. Like, I beat Terry Flanagan as an amateur. I beat Shane Singleton, who went on to a British title. There's loads that I've done well against. So I know if I do the right thing. Bear in mind that Terry Flanagan did beat me as well. He did beat me the first time, but I beat him the last time that we boxed years ago. But yeah, it's one of them. Luckily, I can fight as well. It's okay having all this backing from my supporters, but it'd be rubbish getting on the big stage now and get absolutely battered because I can't actually back up what I'm doing. But yeah.
You're obviously very fresh, but given your age now, is there any part of you that regrets not turning over a bit earlier?
No. The reason is I wouldn't have been mature enough. I'm a late developer anyway. I feel like I am a young 31. I know that sounds ridiculous because we're all going to say that, but I genuinely do. I feel like I am in my prime, like in terms of fitness levels and stuff. Like one of my teammates, Luke Catchy, at Orm Boxing Club, he always used to say that I was brilliant, but I'd always fade towards the end. And I did, that was my biggest weakness. But as a pro, it's completely different. I get stronger as the fight goes on. It's so weird. But yeah, I think I've got another 2 or 3 years in me. And as well, like, it's just dealing with the, like, I don't know, when you're sorting your tickets out and I don't know, the adult side of things. I'm just more mature now. And I don't think I'd have done as well now if I'd have turned pro, let's say, 3 years ago. Or 3 years before what I previously said. I turned pro 2 years ago. But let's say I did 3 years before that. I don't think I'd have been ready for it.
Let's talk about the support, as you mentioned it. Was that something that's followed you from the amateur scene, or is it something that's grown more as a pro?
No, as an amateur, I used to have literally 5 people turn up. So I'd have my dad, my missus, one of my mates, Dan Hewitt, one of my top mates, and yeah, a handful of people would go. Sometimes my cousins would go, but I never really. that was always the biggest worry for me, turning pro. Because especially when you start from where I started from, it's all about tickets. And on my debut, I sold 60 tickets, which usually you sell loads of tickets on your debut. So I was thinking, I hope they don't drop off now. Because usually they sell tickets, and then most fighters, it just drops a little bit every time until they end up just either stopping or going on the road. But luckily for me, I think the turning point was on my third fight. I boxed on the Hughie Fury undercard when he boxed in Channel 5 against Sam Sexton. And I didn't box on the TV, but all my supporters were singing Delilah and stuff all night. So while the fight was going on, everyone at home could hear it. And then, no one knew why. But then all of a sudden, Stoke Loud and Proud, which is a page on Facebook, they shared the video of me winning and then walking out the ring. And then all of a sudden, it just got shared about a little bit. And then my tickets went up slightly, a little bit, about 100. And then a bit more. And then just went crazy. Like, particularly for me, Midlands title fights, just before, after my dad had passed away, I boxed for the Midlands title and I sold me most tickets then. And then the atmosphere is that good, mate. Honestly, the atmosphere is that good that people just want to go just to be part of it, because it is incredible. I mean, I fight okay, so I think I'm quite entertaining when I fight, but it is the atmosphere. The best part of the night for me is the walkouts, even better than when I'm winning. Honestly, it's incredible.
Presumably, there's a big crossover between your fan base and that of the football club. Have you got much of a relationship with them? The club?
I've got a massive Stoke City. I've got, I can't even think of the word. I've got a lot of gratitude and stuff to what they've done for me. They really have supported me. Steve Buxton, who's like one of the main guys there, he's always said, if there's anything going on, come to on the pitch side with us and we'll get you on. And just, they've been really, really good, massively supportive, and just the supporters of Stoke City as well. I'm a Stoke City lad. I'm a Stoke-on-Trent lad. And it just goes together really well. And just, yeah, you've seen it yourself. The atmosphere, they brought the Britannia, or the Bet365, what it's known as now, was notoriously one of the loudest clubs in the country. In fact, probably the loudest football club at one point. And that's just transpired into the boxing now, and it's good.
Try and describe for us, and it won't be easy, what goes through your mind and what it feels like when you come out in front of all those passionate supporters singing Delilah.
Yeah, in the lead up to it, when I'm in the walkway, all I'm thinking is, shit, like, excuse my language. Because you think, I've got to walk out to this. But as soon as you hear the start of Delilah, it goes, dead, and it kicks in, game over, I just totally switched on. And it's weird. It's like a blur. It's weird watching videos back, because it's almost like I can't remember any of it. But it was me there. But it is incredible. You just see the whole place going. You got your hands in the air, and I'm just one of them essentially, because I'm singing along with them. And I can't explain. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
So is the dream to kind of have the world title fight at the football stadium? Maybe Tom Jones sings it live.
Oh, mate, the stadium's the dream, and I don't care what title it is. They could give me any title, but if they could get me, that would be the ultimate. That would be the ultimate dream. I mean, I've said to people before, years ago, well, on the way up, people used to say, fight the Bet365. I was like, I can't even sell the King's Hall out in Stoke, let alone thinking about a stadium. But now it's really built up, and we have sold out the King's Hall. I think it's there to potentially do it. And especially with the backing of Frank Warren now and Queensbury Promotions, they've got the machine and the network there to really actually do something like that.
Well, there's also a track record, isn't there? You know, Frank brought Ricky Hatton through with the big support of Man City, Josh Warrington with the big support of Leeds United. So there's kind of a pattern to work with. Yeah,
it's mad. Like, because you mentioned Carl Franson as well and doing stuff, but it's crazy to even be mentioned along the same names as them. But at the end of the day, they must see something. It's not just because I've got an amazing fan base. I can fight as well, so we just got to see what they can do with me.
Well, no, you're right, because if they thought you were just going to lose your next 2 or 3 fights, the fan base wouldn't be there anyway. So it's kind of, it has to go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. So we just got to see what we're going to do, what they can do, and I've just got to make sure I win. And if I keep winning, who knows?
And looking at your record and past performances, it seems like you make middleweight relatively comfortably, or as comfortably as anyone does.
Yeah.
Why was your last fight a couple of pounds over?
It's just because it was set for the super middleweight title, so it was almost like is it the catch weight kind of thing?
Oh, right.
Essentially, because we were going, I think we were looking for the middleweight title. I'm sure it was owned by some lad from Germany, and there's no way he's going to come over to Stoke to fight me. So it just so happened that the super middleweight title was vacant, and then we managed to sort out that I could fight for that, and that's how it worked out.
What are the next kind of couple of steps for you? I know you'll let Frank kind of guide your career and stuff, but who would you like to fight, or what titles would you like to fight for?
We all want the British title as a British fighter. Liam Williams is a champion, absolute animal. By the time I fight for the British title, he'll most likely move on. I hope he moves on anyway. But he is a fantastic fighter, isn't he? And
well, you've already fought one WBO #1 contender. You might as well fight another.
Yeah. Might as well make a duo of it. But I honestly, mate, I'd fight anyone if the prize is right. Not the price. I don't want a game and all that. if the prize and everything, if you're going to get something out the end of it, I'll fight anyone. But with the backing I've got as well, we can make some really big nights as a result of some big titles. So in terms of calling anyone else, I'm not massively keen on that. I usually find it dead cringy. I think unless you're like one of the top 3 in the country, I think it's just dead cringy calling people out. Nothing against it, but it's not my kind of style. I'll fight anyone, and if they want it, if they want it, they can have it. But yeah, in terms of calling anyone else, I'm not really.
Is there a bit of a veiled kind of dig there, and that because someone's been calling you out, haven't they, recently?
No, more so down south. This is. I'm not even going to mention the lad because he's a pain in the ass. But they haven't even had the pro debut yet. Yet they're calling out. They're 2 years behind me. Like they need to put yes, they were a very good amateur, but they've got to put the graft in and don't use me as the Stoke lad to try and sell more tickets because that's all they're going to do. And he made me realise that anyone that's got half of football backing, as soon as they mention the fight in the Stoke City lad, they're gonna sell loads more tickets just because they know what kind of crowd I'm going to bring. So they know the atmosphere is going to be insane. So yeah, I've had a few bloody do it really, but it is what it is. They probably, whether they're struggling to sell, this lad sells tickets anyway, but other ones, they might struggle to sell tickets and they might be coming towards the end of the contract and they thought we've got to roll the dice here. But I'm a tougher fighter than I think they realise. But it is what it is, mate. I'm going to get it at the end of the day.
Brilliant. And before I let you go, can you just tell us your main social media handles so people can, if they're not already, follow you and find out a bit more about you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's Hitman_Heaney, Heaney. On Facebook, it's Nathan Heaney, if you search that. And on Twitter, it's just @Nathan Heaney. And then, yeah, you can get me on any of those guys.
Brilliant. Not that you need any help to kind of cultivating the fan base, but yeah.
No, but you always need help. At the end of the day, I'm lucky that I've got some of the most loyal supporters you could ever. And then my mates as well. And I know virtually every single one of them personally. And it's incredible. I say that word a lot, but it is incredible. But you just got to see what happens, mate. And I'm really excited because, especially with BT Sport and Frank Warren now, the sky's the limit in terms of what kind of shows we can put on. Brilliant. Well, I'm happy you're happy. It sounds really good, and you sound really enthusiastic about this, so it's brilliant. No, I appreciate your time. It's really brilliant. So thank you very much for having me on. All right, you take care, and hopefully we'll get to meet up in person sometime soon. Top man. Thank you very much, mate. Take care. Cheers, dude.